Hello, welcome back to another Puck and Stuff episode. This is a Flames kind of talk, off-season talk, so same as what we've been basically doing for the last little bit. And this episode is sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
A man can dream.
Well, we weren't gone that long, and a lot of stuff has still hit the table.
Oh, man. It's okay. So everything that we've recorded for content just aged like milk, as one of our...
Someone
commented on that
comment.
thing.
That was a funny
Shout
one.
out to you, man.
Shout out to
Thanks
that guy.
for the comment.
Oh, that was a funny comment. But yes, as that man explained it, it went as expired as milk at that point. So we're here for new content and new news. T-Dog, we're going to start it right off with you.
Alrighty, we'll just get right into it there. I mean, so
what
besides,
are the free agents that we have missed?
Well, probably the biggest one to come out of the last few days. I can't think of anything else, but probably the fact that Morgan Geekie re-signed with the Seattle Kraken 1 year for $1.4 million. Mm-hmm. I think that's it, so we can just wrap it up.
Yep,
right,
pretty much.
Guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we also got, so we'll also get into some other news. And actually, I like some of these signings. These are some of these signings that I kind of wish maybe Calgary got into, but of course, what just have happened this week, don't really care anymore. So
Calgary has its reasons.
So we'll see here. But so Nino Niederreiter signs with the Nashville Predators 2 years at $4 million AAV. This is what we get for calling their jerseys garbage. So they add to their forward depth. Kasperi Kapanen re-signs with the Pittsburgh Penguins for 2 years. Annual. The AAV is $3.2 million. Cole Lind, the Seattle Kraken re-signs 1 year, $850K. Jesper Volkvist re-signs with the New Jersey Devils for 1 year, $874,125K, $70K if he goes to the AHL there on the bridge deal. Now Patrick Laine.
Ooh,
he re-signs with the Columbus Blue Jackets 4 years, $8.7 per year. That's not a bad. Well, it's more. It's a risk because we'll get into it, but it's a risk.
It's a bit of a gamble.
It is a bit of a risk. Pierre-Luc Dubois, he re-signs with the Winnipeg Jets only for 1 year at $6 million. It's a qualifying offer, so we'll probably see something maybe like maybe he gets sent off to probably Montreal or something come trade deadline. Down in the season, so we'll see. Steven Lorentz, who goes to San Jose, of course. Now he signed 2 years, 1.05 per year there. As well, some coaching stuff. Sharks head coach, it is going to be David Quinn, as it looks like. David Quinn will become the new head coach of the San Jose Sharks. I think as well, as long as he can, get the best out of the young players and keep that system running and have the young players buy into his system, I think he'll be fine. But I don't know. That's one of those things to me where I saw how he ran New York, didn't really like it, so I just hope maybe he might have a better opportunity. Maybe he'll perform better. Fresh start with the Sharks, but we'll have to see. But anyways, there, B-Dog, I just want to see if there's anything specific that you would want to mention. I think the Laine one is the biggest one that we kind of want to talk about, before we get into that really big news that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Patrick Laine, he was drafted right behind Austin Matthews, basically, and I thought he did really well with Winnipeg. Honestly, that's where I kind of see why he got this contract, because when he was with Winnipeg in his past time, he performed very well, and he was one of their top right wingers for that team. And then he went over to Columbus, which was really sad for most Winnipeg fans, obviously. Jesse Pollock, we heard all about it. It was funny as hell. But when he went to Columbus, that first season, he kind of took a little bit of a downfall. And I heard there was a lot of talk between him and John Tortorella.
Yeah.
If that's correct, there was a lot of button heads between that, so that's why maybe he didn't perform. And then he came back from the next year, and I believe he was injured for quite a big part of that, so I think it's just that background of what the scorer can be is why he got such a big contract, because it was like 8.7 for like 7 years, right? It was a decently long contract. I'm actually going to double check that, because I might be wrong.
For sure, but what I think with the Laine thing is ultimately probably the biggest advertising factor for him was the signing of Johnny Gaudreau, right? So
it was 4 years.
4 years at 8.7. So right now he's not worth 8.7. It's not a prove it deal. It's more of you're just betting on the future kind of thing. But I really do think that Johnny could get the best out of Laine. I think the idea is, of course, because of how outstanding the Flames power play was, or the first power play unit is.
Yeah.
So you have Johnny Gaudreau comes in, right? Maybe your power play unit. few little nice cross crease, saucers over there to Laine, and he snipes some, pulls a few obies.
He's got a dirty one-timer. I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
It's not... That's why it was such a comparable between Austin Matthews and him, because it's just that big one-timer as well. But obviously, Austin Matthews is the better player out of the two. Sorry to end that debate as well. But yeah, I think Patrick Laine was really pumped this year that Johnny Gaudreau did sign with Columbus. That was probably a big part of why Patrick Laine took the steps to actually sign back with Columbus, even though there's been so much struggle there already. But yeah, that was a big sign. I think that it wasn't much of an overpay, but if he turns back to how he was in Winnipeg, I think it might work out pretty well in that contract.
But I think the thing with Winnipeg, I'm still thinking he's a Jet. But the thing about Columbus is, their top line is gonna be outstanding. I think.
I just don't know center.
I can see Johnny Hockey, getting 100 points. I could see Laine getting 30, 35 goals plus. Same thing with Johnny as well still. Mm-hmm. Now, my thing, of course, is, so I also forgot to mention, here's some other news. Oliver Bjorkstrand of the Columbus Blue Jackets has now been traded to the Seattle Kraken for a 2023 third round and a 2023 fourth round. So, of course, that's most likely for cap reasons because he had to, move something around to sign Laine. But of course you lose some forward depth, and like we were saying, their center pieces seem to lack. I mean, they have Roslovic, but I don't think that should be your number one. Boone Jenner's on IR, but he should be coming back, I think, at the start of the season. I do think though that they are lackluster on the forward depth compared to a lot of other teams. But of course, now that you have Johnny Gaudreau and Laine locked up, that can take a little bit of the heat away from it. Because they're able to carry a little bit more load than some other players.
That is very true, and plus when you sign Johnny Gaudreau, 150 points, just came off a career year. That's a great addition to Columbus that was struggling to truly find a main star. And then that convinces your hopeful star to finally get back on his feet to actually start playing to his potential. So Columbus really set themselves up in a really good situation with building around two key star forwards, and then you still have Zach Werenski in the back, so you still have a decent star on your defense, and you got a decent option A, option B situation, I believe, with their goaltending, as we were talking about before. But they're looking in the upside, which makes me mad because one of them is Gaudreau, but they're going to the upside, so good for them.
Yeah, I think Columbus, it's just because it'd be a different story that we're talking about if they're not even in their division.
No.
Put them in the West, different story. They're most likely already in the conversation, I'd say. But I just think there's a few more pieces
for the Metropolitan now.
I think they just need a few pieces moved still, or just additions. But I mean, man, it's just getting Johnny Hockey he hit the jackpot on that, right?
Yeah.
Like regular season,
New Jersey had one job.
Yeah, well, so did Philly.
Yeah. Philly didn't offer anything.
What are you doing with Philadelphia, man? You guys are not taking care of your tax write-offs, that's for sure. But
well, Fargo Center,
see,
my brother.
Anything else you want to kind of add on there, or anything else? I was thinking too with like Winnipeg, where we kind of mentioned that in correlation with Patrick Laine. They go and get Pierre-Luc Dubois, but of course it seems like he kind of wants so he gets that qualifying offer. People really think, and I would honestly believe it too, that he only signed the 1 year because I think the plan is to move him at the end, get some assets. I was thinking that for the Flames, that would be a nice little pickup. Of course, with everything that happened, I don't really care too much now. But he seems like somewhere like Montreal would be a good destination for him. It seems like Montreal is a destination for a lot of these players, so it's good. It's funny how we talk about players wanting to go home, but it seems like it might even kind of shift over towards Canadian players too, wanting to play in their hometowns or their favorite teams. So.
Yeah, there's been a lot of shifts like that recently, and I think Dubois probably has to. I think he could make a contending team with Winnipeg. You never know, but I would just have to see. I just have to see how they do, honestly.
And Winnipeg, they're definitely in a weird spot. I just thinking how the promise that was kind of. I don't know. They need a retool, but you still have Hellebuck and Scheifele who want to stay.
Yeah. Winnipeg has been going through a weird thing all
assets
season.
for it, but you know what I mean? It's like, say, like Montreal. This is all for Montreal to get, right? Then I think of Montreal, man, like they've just had a great offseason. And then if you're going to have other players going to be added to that, say that Pierre-Luc Dubois and those rumors are true, then Montreal is already back on their heels.
Montreal,
which is awesome to see. It's like Ottawa for me. It's like I just love seeing that like these Canadian teams have just
taken the next step.
Yeah, it's just you know, it feels like it's about time. You know what I mean? It's about time some stuff good happens to these Canadian franchises. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, you've been seeing it with Toronto ever since they got Austin Matthews, and then McDavid with Edmonton, Calgary with Tkachuk and Gaudreau. Well, not anymore, but yeah, we had like those potential stars for most Canadian teams, and you saw like Ottawa, Winnipeg, and Montreal kind of go down a slope. Same with Vancouver, but it looks like those teams are finally making a turn. Like Ottawa, for say, holy cow, good offseason so far. Great additions to make you guys look like a contender. Montreal, tons of young
playoff contender, not cup contender.
Yeah. clarifying. Just a contender for playoffs, not cups. You guys aren't there yet. Let's see what happens. But as Montreal's made a lot of moves to actually make themselves look a little bit better in the prospect pool for sure. Kirby Dach was a huge addition, and honestly, I would fix your defense problems for sure. That's like probably the next big piece I would say you have to go for. Let's see what Price wants to do, because you could trade him off and maybe get even more additions. But yeah, most Canadian teams right now are starting to look on the ups. Yeah. It's kind of good to see.
That'll depend on injury, I think, with Price, how that all works out.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it. I mean, I'm just thinking like a Suzuki, Slavkovsky, and Caulfield line, hypothetically, become nice in a few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
it really
they all
would.
Mature, like that's gonna be a sexy line. That's just gonna be ripping, man. They're gonna they could all be 80-point scorers.
Yeah.
In the same season, like
that's terrifying.
That's how good their first line could potentially be in the coming years, which is awesome. So something to look forward in the future. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about that. But
actually, I was going to transfer it from Canadian teams talk to one of our Canadian teams.
Yes, you're right. Matthew Phillips, he did. He signed. Finally, Matthew Phillips signed 1 year, $750,000. Okay, all jokes aside, man, I'm glad, because speaking of the prospect pooling, I would honestly like to keep some of the bottom forward positions open to these AHL players. Matthew Phillips, Peltier, maybe Zari gets in, but Ruzicka as well.
Ruzicka kind of proved last season he kind of deserved it. I liked his play last year.
100%.
Yeah.
I think at this point it's like, you start having them come up a little bit, right? See what they're doing, because too many good prospects in the AHL, you just leave them to rot, and then it's just, I mean, it could be good trade bait, I think, but players aren't happy with that. I think like Valimaki, I think you're gonna have to ultimately
I think Valimaki might deserve a spot on the roster for the Flames, don't you think?
The thing is, he's gonna fight with like Nick Milosh, right? What if we for some reason again sign Michael Stone? You know, like,
oh god.
Then the seventh man on the defense pairing is just gonna be weird. Like the 13th forward, to me, I think it's more clear than the defense, but yeah, ultimately kind of round back there to Matthew Phillips. I'm just glad he got signed.
Me as well.
I do want to see him up, and I think he had a great season there with Stockton. So we'll see what happens with the Calgary Wranglers. It's going to be called the Wranglers.
It's going to be called the Wranglers. I'm so happy they're actually coming to Calgary.
There's going to be some good hockey to watch. Hey, probably cheaper too. It's in the Dome as well, so more.
I think there's a lot of discussion that they might move them to the Max Bell Center, or the Bell's. It's the Max Bell.
Yeah, it's
Max Bell. Yeah, they're playing. I think they might play them in there instead of the Dome, because they just made a lot of changes to the building for sure. So I guess we'll have to see on that conversation. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, any other Flames news before I continue?
Oh, something little.
Something.
This is the little
one.
Wait,
just a little one?
Yeah, some guy. I don't know who his name is. I think his name was like Matthew Tkachuk got traded.
Say what? Matthew Tkachuk got traded?
Oh, he did?
What?
He did?
Okay. What?
No way.
Okay, so you already know the gossip. You already know the drama.
So here's his thing. Let's not get into the full trade yet. Let's just talk about Matthew Tkachuk and the career as a Flame.
Okay, here. Let me. I got an idea. I got an idea for this. So, As a Flames fan, you got exited second round by your rival. That hurt. Johnny Gaudreau left. Your big star left. And it's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. We all thought it was calm because we're like, we got tons of cap space. We got Mangiapane the sign. We got Tkachuk the sign. We can still bring the team together. No. Just, no.
No. It just, you would not be a Canadian hockey fan without this drama. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
I feel like a bit of a Leafs fan right now. I feel like this is what a Leafs offseason feels like. Remember when Nylander was trying to get signed? I feel this is probably what it was.
Yeah.
Was it just like this? I wouldn't say it's whatever because I feel like, if you lost Nylander, you still have Marner Matthews, but like that was still pretty crazy. People were going ape stuff for that, you know
Ape
what I mean?
Shiza.
So like I think it's funny, but
Unbelievable. Just like, so as you were kind of mentioning, we'll go into a little bit of a down slope of Matthew Tkachuk here. He was drafted 6th overall in the 2016 draft by the Calgary Flames, and he looked like a very promising prospect. He was he had the size, he had the charisma, he had big power forward you need that looked like a franchise left winger for the Flames. And obviously he developed through our system. And when he came up, he actually had his flashes of potential. He took that, I would say he probably took that little bit of a downslope in the last 3 years before this year. He took a little bit of a downslope, but then he finally picked up on his feet, playing on one of the best lines in the NHL last year, and puts up 100 points. Bravo. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I really wanted this guy to finally show his true potential, and it looked like it was going in the right direction. And I'm like, okay, give him the C, be the face of the Flames. He just didn't want to sign. He didn't want to sign.
And you know what I gotta say, I want to say, I know he's never gonna watch this, but I guess a personal thank you to Tkachuk for being a part of this organization, because I had so much fun just following and watching. He really was one of my favorite players. It wasn't my number one. Johnny was always my number one just because of smaller guy. Same with me, right? So it's kind of
Chuck was number one for me.
It's kind of that, something you relate to. But I remember seeing Tkachuk for the first time. I went to my first Flames game where he was on the team on 2019 or whatever. I just remember it was against the Golden Knights, and he tried the between the legs about 2 or 3 times. One time he almost made it. I still remember this watching from the nosebleeds. Just in my head. And he almost, and I still think about it. If he scored that goal, it'd be up there with the Nashville one, or the one he scored against Vegas too.
Or the one he got in New York.
Right, stuff like that. And it just, the reason why I talk about that story is because he was such a flashy player. He was so much fun to watch, man. He was awful. And that's what I'm going to miss about him. He was such an a-hole to play against, right? And it was awesome having him. But now we don't have... It's he was our Brad Marchand. We don't have our Brad Marchand anymore. And it sucks, right? And it's that whole... I guess you grew up with it, right? You grew up with that team, so it's sad seeing it go. But you know what? He found... I think it just felt like a fit would be better being moved, find somewhere else. And ultimately, did he wait for Gaudreau to make a decision? I honestly think so, but... You know what? I think he did it better than Johnny because he told Trey Living so that we could get some stuff in return. Yeah, some stuff in return.
Just wait.
We'll get back.
We'll get to there. We're getting there.
That was awesome. That was really nice. But it's it still sucks because he really was one of my favorite players, and I got a jersey that's signed by him. So stuff like that's odd. You just wish him the best, but.
He's in Florida now. He's in the hot sun.
I would also love to be paid that much money and then drive Lambos in the sunrise in Florida. That'd be pretty sick.
That would be pretty sick. But we will miss you.
Because
you were favorite.
We're definitely gonna miss the physicality and that leadership that love. He wanted to win for his team, right? Stuff like that. We're gonna miss it. I'm not saying the other players that we're getting are gonna be like that, but Tkachuk is a different player. There's not many players who are like that, who can absolutely piss people off but still score, which would inherently piss them off even more because they get in your face and then on the power play, right, tap in or dirty 1T or dirty pass or something like that.
This
right?
man will just go through the legs for you.
I just love it.
At this point.
So I know I'm hyping too much. Yeah. So, but anyways, anything else you gotta say on that?
Thank you, Matthew Tkachuk. Have fun in Florida.
Have fun in Florida. I think we gotta say it now, man.
All right, you know what?
So,
What we got in return? Bang!
So-
And there we go.
so as I was saying,
Change-o.
I said that nice stuff about Tkachuk, and I do mean it.
I do too.
Here's the thing,
But here's the thing.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Jonathan
Jonathan!
Huberdeau. Dude.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So,
Yes. Oh. Okay.
wow, just
I'm fine.
okay. Now I
Just realized this is Joe McGinley.
Joe McGinley, but Jonathan Huberdeau, dude. Okay, I don't know if you guys can truly see from the camera over there. I'll have to double check. But dude, if you can't see this, it says Jonathan Huberdeau instead of Matthew Tkachuk now, and it's staying like that for the rest of the time until he at least leaves.
Yeah, until we get a
Until we get
jersey.
another one, and we'll have to put a different number. And just the return that we got on this trade is
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
It is actually phenomenal because, all right, I get the naysayers and we'll get into the other other aspects of the trade. But here's the thing: the fact that we had a depressing few weeks, 2-3 weeks has it been?
2 weeks.
A lot. Like it ruined my stampede for goodness sake because I was waiting. I'm like, oh, and then there's rumors that Johnny was actually was watching the grandstand show with Backlund. So I'm like, oh, he's here. That was a lie. But it's like, oh, this is whatever, and then it's like suddenly this happens, and the hockey world blew up. I have not seen the hockey world be this intrigued into the Flames ever. It's sick. It's seriously so cool because like Flames never get this like attention. So
No.
now that we're getting the attention, I want to bask in all its glory.
Yeah, that's
It
a very
is
fair
awesome.
fact, actually. But if you guys somehow don't know about this blockbuster trade that's happened like only a few days ago, this trade was between the Calgary Flames and the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers obviously acquired Matthew Tkachuk and a 2025 fourth round pick.
I did forget about the 2025. I knew it was a full conditional.
Goodbye, fourth round pick.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the fourth round pick.
All right.
All right. And what the Calgary Flames have acquired from this is astounding to me.
Just how can I
All right.
believe
So
it,
I'll
bro.
start off low and go to the top. All right. So it was a conditional 2025 first round pick.
It's top 10 protected, by the way.
Top. Really?
Yeah. So I mean,
That part I never heard.
If someone doesn't, because I actually didn't understand this initially, but it's all it means is say,
if the pick
Florida or so somehow, yeah. Anyways, if somehow we're bad enough that we somewhere are in the top 10 for the draft lottery, then the condition will probably go like to the season after or something.
Damn,
like that.
that's like NBA rules. That's the whole fun of NHL.
This was an NBA trade. This whole thing was.
Yeah, literally. Good for Brad Tree Living. That is a trade you save your ass on.
He saved his career or his job twice now.
Yep,
Probably
pretty
3
much.
times. So this was just astounding. I'm
All right,
just-
I should continue on it. So after the first round pick, we got a prospect in Cole Swift. That was I hear he's a pretty good pickup. He is a 21-year-old left winger, so it's nice to have a little bit more prospect pool. Nice to have. And then we move to the two big boys on this list. Mackenzie Weegar, big first lineman defenseman, played 77 games, put up 44 points and a plus minus of I believe almost 30.
What's crazy about this is I'm pretty sure when we were doing our podcast when the Flames were playing Florida, I think I remember talking about and praising Uyghur's ability. He's a right-handed shot too.
Oh my god.
This is
oh my god.
This is beautiful in
This
every sense.
Man.
Armchair GMs literally saw this trade and probably got out of their armchair. So
Oh, you know
that's
what?
Crazy.
We haven't even got to the best part yet. That's the greatest part.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was like already like cheesecake. This is like cheesecake with a cherry. This
Is the cherry on top of this deal, and you probably already know it. We get Jonathan Huberdeau, second in points behind McDavid and tying with Johnny Gaudreau. We just acquired ourselves probably a top 5 player again in his prime, basically, because he's like almost 30.
Just
He's
crazy.
29.
I think he's the same age, exactly same age as Johnny, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So
Actually, no, Gaudreau, I believe, is 28. Huberdeau is 29. That's what I believe it was.
okay, so
We get one of the best wingers in the league for a year, but he's 30 exact. So he's almost out of his prime years. And he just had his career.
okay, so I want to say two things. So
Go ahead.
One, about the deal. This deal was the first sign and trade in NHL history, meaning Tree Living sat down with Chucky's agent, and the Panthers GM as well. I think it's Bill Zito. Yeah. And they signed him. So the Flames all initially signed him 8 years, $9.5 million per year, but then the trade occurred. And so this is the first one to ever happen in NHL history. People were talking about that there was other ones that happened with that. I think it was like Seth Jones was the one, but those were trades and then they signed with that team they got traded to.
Yeah.
So this is the first sign then trade, which is pretty cool to see, right? Some history. So, I mean, hey, if that ever comes up in hockey trivia, or timestamp this, remember it, and boom, maybe you win a free dome foam or
You
something.
win
right?
$100 million.
So we'll see. But I thought that was really cool to think. And then as well as
That was a great trade.
it's just a phenomenal trade. There's something else I have. Okay, we can keep going on, but it'll come back to me.
Oh, come back? All right. So
there's some other detail.
I just got to say, you know what? There was a lot of slander for those 2 weeks on Brad Tree Living for what he was doing with the two superstars. And God, I don't want to kind of say I bit myself in the ass in this one, but I kind of did.
I feel like we all did, though. Every single...
But, dude, you played with our emotions so hard, dude. 2 weeks of hell, and then you drop that. Like, I'm happy, but just... Why?
It's an
You're
emotional
playing my
roller coaster
heart.
right now, man. It's a literal roller coaster right now. It's like that TikTok that you made.
Yeah.
Right? It's like...
Damn.
I love that slide. I love it's getting some videos awesome, man. But it's so true. It's like up and down and down and up and up.
You know what I just got to say?
It's just this relief, man. Like this is where I was. I was at the gym, and between my set, I checked my phone, right, as a man does, and I thought it was a joke at first. I'm like, Elliot Friedman saying this, or no, it was Frank Saravelli. Like, that's a joke. And I double checked. I'm like, no way, because it broke legitimately like maybe 3 minutes after I like just got on my phone. I just
really?
caught it. So people were just finding this out. And I'm like, yo,
I need to
don't
tell
know. No
someone.
one was there. No one was there. I didn't know who to talk to. It was one of those things where you want to like just be like scream or be like cheer and enjoyment, but you can look kind of like loopy if you do that. And then as well, it's like I just need to like say something, man. But
I mean, fair enough.
That was just such a nice relieving thing for me, right?
Oh,
it's
so much relief.
Oh my goodness, I feel so different. I mean, of course the work's not done yet with this team, and I don't think this is going to be the exact team that comes in come October, but dude, already, man, like Edmonton fans, I think they're a little sad. I think Edmonton fans are half and half. One, they want the BOA to be good. So they're like, okay,
Battle Alberta's fun.
A little bit of little bit of excitement there, a little bit of action. But as well, we're not gonna be easily stomped on now. You know what I mean? And
no, it's like crap. They got superstar again.
I'll let you keep saying whatever, and we'll get into the other part too. But even if we have these for 1 year, it's 1 year, man. It's that 1 year window right there, right, with Daryl Sutter and stuff. Dude,
there's some possibilities.
It feels. I feel a lot more confident right now.
Than how it felt 2 weeks ago.
I guess the biggest thing that we can talk about too, and we'll get into the UFA thing in a sec here. I want to see what else you have, if you have anything else.
I got a little bit more up my sleeve.
Okay.
And you know what? I can't believe a man played with my heart that bad. Like, I feel bad for some like Calgary guys that are Flames fans and have women nowadays, because it's like, which one has played with your heartstrings the most in 2 weeks? The Brad Tree Living or the women?
Well, the one that you met at Stampede probably isn't looking too.
No, probably not.
Bad anymore.
Probably.
But it's, dude, I don't even know, man. It's like
I've never
Flame
seen a
fans have
GM
gone crazy AWOL, man.
Yeah, I've never seen
funny.
someone
It's
like
actually funny.
this one guy commented on the TikTok, and he was even putting like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like your heart basically all week. It was amazing. But I gotta say, great recovery of your job. That was probably one of the best trades I've ever seen from a GM in quite a bit, because yeah, Tkachuk could possibly become a generational talent, but you just set yourself up in a great situation. You know your goaltender was still Vezina caliber, so you have that situation
And
set.
he is. I understand that Edmonton is his kryptonite, but remember, like, you have to remember, look at the okay, man. That sounds like I'm just trying to defend nothing. But no, seriously, I really think with Markstrom,
He is still a Vezina caliber goaltender.
He has the pot, like, and I really do think it's with a strong team in front of him too, with that defense. I really think Markstrom will still be able to like still push himself. He had a great regular season. Why can't he do it again?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think. I really think that.
Exactly. And with that, you also put an amazing upgrade on your defense with Uyghur. And then you just put an all-star offensive player on your first line again with Elias Lindholm. Now you just probably have to make some off-season moves to upgrade your offense a little bit more. If you go out for Kadri now, I won't even be that mad.
If it's a 1-year thing, I mean, I don't know how you're going to be able to sign, right? Like, it's going to be because like, we have to still sign Mangiapane. We still have to sign Shillington. We'll get into that because the defense will be a big thing to talk about.
Yeah, there will.
I was also going to mention before I forget, and we'll go back right to what we were saying, this trade was also significant because it was the first ever trade in NHL history that two players were traded amongst each other that both had 100-plus points that previous season.
I think
So that's some crazy, or I don't know.
There's one trade that kind of falls into my head. It was the Gretzky one when he went to LA and they got that one player. I can't remember his name.
Or maybe I read this stat wrong, but it was something along the lines of that. But I thought that was also really interesting too. And it's crazy because when I saw that, that's why this whole thing amazed me, because the fact of, I understand, okay, Florida needed the cap space, and I feel like Huberdeau probably wasn't going to sign anyways, so I can see why they probably let him go. But it's the fact that Huberdeau scored as many points as Johnny, and all of a sudden we got him back. Got something like that back. I just didn't expect it. None of us expected this. No one expected. When we were talking about these trade ideals, I'm thinking St. Louis, right? We're going to get St. Louis probably Tarasenko, probably get a prospect. Kyrou. I would love Kyrou. You know what I mean?
Kyrou
but
too.
Huberdeau, right?
But Jonathan Huberdeau. Oh, also,
like,
I did search it up. So the other trade that a player with 100 points, over 100 points, both got switched was the Wayne Gretzky trade with the Kings when they traded Gretzky with Jimmy Carson.
Okay,
Jimmy Carson had the 100 points. Wayne Gretzky had the 100 points.
So
that was the trade.
So I must have read the stat wrong or something, but it's been a long time since that, anyways, right? Yeah. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal. It's just crazy about it. There's so much to this trade, like it's just, and that's why it like blew up the hockey world. Like it felt like it just came out of nowhere because we knew that Tkachuk was going to get traded. We knew how that was going to play.
We just didn't know the trade was going to be blockbuster like that. Jesus.
So. Now what I gotta say is, okay.
What you got on your mind?
So, it's the naysayers. The naysayers, and it's simply because of this. Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar are both unrestricted free agents come the next season.
Yes, we know.
So, there is definitely a price to pay because it might not all be or whatever, but how I see it is this. Huberdeau signs, Weegar leaves, you still win it. Weegar signs, but Huberdeau leaves. Still think it's a win just because you're the first, the prospect, whatever. But Weegar to me is such a dominant defenseman, right-handed too, and I really think he solidifies. I think he is honestly either our second or first best, depending on how you think of it. But I think he is seriously up there. I think he has a possibility that he is just going to blow everyone out of the water, and whatever his line is on, he's going to be the first defense pairing. Him and Tana, for example.
I would possibly say top 4 for him.
But
Elias Lindholm, or Huberdeau, Elias Lindholm, him.
Sure, I meant defenseman.
Oh, defenseman? Oh,
so I'm thinking like Anderson for sure.
I thought you meant on the team, and I'm like, I can see him top 3, actually.
But Tanev, of course, the way he plays, but of course, Weegar has that offensive ability. Well, he's just his transition game is supposed to be really good. People will say that he can be like a Makar, not as good as Makar is, of course. No one's like Makar, but he has that ability. He was first last season in block passes.
Wow!
So I love seeing that. I'm like, and so if he plays
that's
on his toes, man,
right
it's
there.
like seems like that might work really well. Defensive minded player.
It is.
Defensive-minded coach.
That is.
Love that, hey?
That's a big Sutter pickup.
That is going to be great, and so I love that, but I see the naysayers where they say it, you lose both, and do we lose? Yes, but the fact is that we still somehow have a lot of wiggle room, because we were going to lose Tkachuk. It was confirmed. So now that we have this UFA, even if we don't, we can ship him off in the trade deadline, and we have a possibility that we have enough cap space to sign them or switch and sign other players, because like shout out to the hockey guy. He was saying that the Flames have a different, a kind of an odd and yet nice thing going on with their off seasons, because I think pretty much every player, I think besides like Coleman, needs to be signed either next season or the season after. So you have so much room to play with. So you could literally say this season doesn't go that well and we need to just retool. You can retool. But if we have a great season, I'm not saying we are, but if we do, then hey, you might be able to get some other assets come later down the year or after the season, and have the team try and compete and perform even better than this season that comes up.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually really crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Brad Treliving's put himself in a really good situation right now. Just hearing that basically, except Blake Coleman, I think it's actually Markstrom as well, because I think Markstrom's on a big contract as well.
Yeah.
But like in 2 seasons, almost everyone needs new contracts. You put yourself in a really good situation, because like you said, if we do great this year, that's great. You could even ship off maybe a pick to get more additions in the trade deadline. If you need a retool, honestly, I think it's either go big now or rebuild. I don't see a retool in this situation yet. I see either you go big for like next 2 years with this, or you could just dump it. Just dump it all for freaking picks and then just rebuild. Even
when we lost Johnny, I'm like, I think you still have to. That's why you got a goalie in Markstrom. That's why you sign players like Coleman. And, you get the addition of Toffoli and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was to just win now. And it's like with the room that you have with Sutter as well. Like, I don't know if Sutter resigns or not. I honestly think this is probably his last season. I think he just wants to retire, right?
Maybe.
So we'll see.
I mean, he seems the team's doing well. He might stay longer than you think.
I'd talk for another day, but man, it's
getting interesting for Flames again.
It's getting interesting, and what I love too is, dude, it's nice. Like, we already see the promise. Can Sutter up their games even more if he can? I really think Sutter had a lot to play and contribute with this entire team. I think these are a big reason why.
He did win a Jack Adams for a reason.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why Lindholm, Tkachuk, and Johnny was such a great line, because they all helped each other, cemented each other. I really don't think they would have gotten all their points or goals without each other.
No.
Or with coaching too. Like, it all just seemed to glue so well. It was so perfect.
That's why I'm surprised it just completely collapsed. But hey, I mean, he fixed the problem a little bit. We just need a few more pieces, and then we could potentially maybe look like. It's going to be hard. It's really hard to tell. I won't say much.
But I'm excited to see what this is going to, because this team's going to be different now.
It's very different. It's
like the fact that we will not hear Beasley yell Johnny Gaudreau or
Matthew
Tkachuk. It's crazy, right? Because we don't even have a captain still. We'll see how that goes, because Tkachuk's now out of that way for being captain.
Yep.
We'll see who gets it. But it's like, now that we have Huberdeau as our like star for say, like, tell me 6 months ago, right? Like, I wouldn't believe any of this.
Probably
because
not.
of how good they were doing it. It's just absolutely crazy. It's just, and now too, it's funny because all those negative Nancy's too, where we're like, you never win with. That's true. I guess they're right. Never mind. We were never gonna win with Tkachuk and Johnny because they left. But
they left. Hey, Monahan still has some potential.
Monty's still here, man.
Monty's still here.
Imagine Monty.
Everyone, Sean Monahan is still here.
Imagine Monty's healthy, comes back and plays somewhat of what he used to be.
Puts down at least a 50-point season. Dude, I would be like, what, deserve.
That would help so much. That'd be crazy.
God. That would be great. But a man can dream. Also, did we have some other contracts that we had to talk about as well? The RFAs?
Well, I was thinking specific with the defense. Well, yeah, I guess we have the two. I wanted to say. Let me get back to the. Oh, I'm sorry. I had one more thing to talk about Huberdeau, but I guess just the fact that Huberdeau, I did not like. He like, it's just, I can't believe that he's like the star player now. Like, it's just weird to think.
It's a fresh start,
but
though.
it's a fresh start, right? And now that that era of Johnny is gone and stuff, with Tkachuk leaving too, it's right. So maybe this team, we'll see how this team works.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. There's gonna be more moves and all that. And speaking of moves, of course, we'll have to talk about those RFAs and stuff. So I guess the biggest RFAs would be Oliver Shillington and Andrew Mangiapane. For me, the Shillington one intrigues me because we're in a very good defensive position now, right?
Yeah.
I think, of course, you're going to sign Mangiapane. Seems like his agent said that he wants to sign long-term, which I love.
Yeah.
Man, Mangiapane jersey would be good. I think I'm still going to get the Lindholm. But if Mangiapane signs long-term...
We already got the Huberdeau jersey,
yeah,
boys.
so neat, right?
That's
exactly.
not coming off of that ever again.
But man, okay, so right now, as we speak, the defensive pairing would be Hanifin Anderson.
Yep.
Shillington. Sorry. Shillington's not
Uyghur.
signed yet. Uyghur, Tanev.
Yep.
Zadorov, and either Milosh or Valimaki or Connor Mackey. Right? So that's not terrible.
But if you put Shillington on the third line with Zadorov,
Oh, man, that's
that
crazy.
is deadly offense,
It's
dude.
like well, we're so I don't know, there's so much room. Like, I don't know what you do with the defense. I mean, I would like to get some assets for Shillington if we're to lose him. Right? Like, I feel like you could get some value out of him.
Do you want to hear what the offense would look like right now for lineups?
Yeah.
So we have Jonathan Huberdeau, first line left wing, Elias Lindholm and Tyler Toffoli. Second line, we have Andrew Mangiapane, Michael Backlund, Big Coleman. I love that line. That's a good second line.
They always played. It seemed like when you would.
I love that line against Dallas.
It was
Such a dominant line.
Toffoli and Mangiapane that you needed to split up.
Yeah.
It seemed like they did better when they split up. Like, I think that they're both great at their positions. I just think maybe
They're snipers though.
They kinda just
they're
kind of-
sharpshooters, not
maybe just the chemistry wasn't there. Like, maybe they just their style of play just didn't complement each other for a set. I almost wonder if that's what it was.
Yeah. And then on the third line, they have it here. Jacob Peltier makes the jump up with Sean Monahan and Dubé. And then you have Lucic, Kevin Rooney, and Trevor Lewis.
Kind of forgot about the whole time. I'm like, wow, yeah, I forgot that Kevin Rooney. We signed him.
Oh, yeah. All right.
crazy.
So, honestly, if you just make those, like, few additions, like, honestly, you could bring up Jacob Peltier, just see how he does. But you could add another piece to forward depth if you want, but it's not necessary. It still looks pretty decent.
Your 13th forward would then be Ruzicka, right? That's what they say.
That's, I'm double checking. No, they don't have it on here. Nope.
It's weird. I mean, okay, now is the defense is better than last year.
Defense is way better than last year. That was a big upgrade.
Now is the offense. Like,
it's a little bit of a downgrade because you don't have that ultimate position, but you do still have Jonathan Huberdeau there.
I think yes, because the fact that first line was like the best line in the league.
Honestly,
So yes.
What you could technically do, if you somehow do sign Kadri or a dominant center, you could improve your center.
So yeah, best case scenario would be that you can sign Mangiapane. Oh, I was also gonna say too, if you sign Shillington, I think you move Valimaki or something like that. I don't know. It's just I'm worried that there's so many fighting for the 7th to 6th spot of the defensive lines. I don't know. I feel like maybe you could make some wiggle room with that if you ship them off, right, for some prospects or something. But I think with the forward group, man, if you can get one more player, right, a consistent 25, 30 goal scorer, man.
I'm gonna actually search up the
crazy.
last few free agents and see who's still a free agent.
God, you'd be so nice. I just don't know, like, if you're really gonna ruin your. That's why I was saying that blog post.
What about a guy like Phil Kessel?
It's wishful thinking. Hot dog Phil, man.
Hey, you gotta give him.
You know what's funny is hot dog Phil would be. Can you imagine? Actually, that would be hilarious. Dude, I would love it.
Okay, can I
What's
just say?
What's his cap space right now?
Can I just say? So he's a free agent right now. He just came off of a $8 million cap hit.
Oh boy!
But he put up 82 points. He's played 82 games, sorry, can't talk right now. He put up 52 points, 44 assists, 8 goals, and he had a plus minus and minus 24.
Man,
that was Arizona. That was with
I know,
Arizona.
but I'm not paying him 8, man. I'm not paying
What,
him
you want
to...
do you want to say screw it and really stack up the defense and add John Klingberg to the lineup?
If you're going to do that, then sign Kadri, right?
Oh, okay. You know
I
what?
think they're both are going to screw with the cap thing. You have something good going right now with the possibilities and the room that you have to make certain moves.
You know what's a left winger I would actually love for this team right now for depth? Paul Stastny. He put up 71 games and he put up 45 points, both 21, 24 goals assists.
Well, I was thinking too, what about Sonny Milano? I would love that as a depth piece for the forward group.
Is he on? Oh, he is
He
here.
is, yeah. Or Evan Rodriguez. Those are the two I was putting in the blog post as ideas. I would love to have one of them. Seriously, I think they'd be great fits.
Sonny Milano had a cap hit of 1.7 mil. He played 66 games and put up 34 points, 20 assists, 14 goals with a plus minus and minus 4. Yeah. Minus 9.
Of course, he's no Tkachuk replacement, but I really do think in the forward depth, you solidify him in the third line. Him and Ziegler is connected like butter, right? Yeah. Smooth like butter, so I really think...
You could put him with Dubé. I could see Sonny Milano and Dubé would be great on the third line. Yeah. And then you put Peltier with Lucic on the fourth line. You got like an ultimate playmaker and then Lucic.
Honestly,
that would give him an experience.
A part of me really wants me to keep him and then just sign him to like a $1 million deal come next season. I love Lucic, man. Yeah. I know he's a meme and stuff, but I really think his leadership is like loved needed in that team, especially like... Gonna be needed, especially now, right? You lose like big players and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love it.
All right,
so much. Let's talk about. I want to talk about Mackenzie Weegar though as well. Like I mean, we already did, but I just love it. I just love it so much. I really do. That to me was what made me the happiest part of it, because of course the Huberdeau is the best part, but the thing is Weegar just to me it's such a. I cannot believe
what a great pickup! Like a great player. I love it.
It's seriously, how I see it is Weegar could possibly, like, if he plays how he's advertised as, dude, our defense is going to be crazy.
And we were already ranked number 1 in defense last season.
It'll be amazing to see that. I was gonna say he's a good skater too. I was gonna say skating. Now the one thing I had against Tkachuk, skating was mediocre at times. I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't know if he was lazy or just tried to be, but he sometimes got out slower. Just like 2 or 3 strides behind the puck. Huberdeau's a lot faster. He's in his meter. So, and he's got a bigger body than Johnny. So I really think that it's kind of nice to compile that and be able to have that on the ice there as like your number 1 guy. So I love that. That's just
well. As a Flames fan, we're really happy with.
He's gonna be in a Flames uniform.
Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
So.
What number is he going to wear?
I know it's not 11. I don't think Backlund's giving a number up. I'd probably have left.
He shouldn't, anyways. I think Backlund at this point make Backlund captain, longest tenured player.
Actually, yeah. Because
no, he's not the best player, but man, I really, he's just been here through thick and thin, man. He deserves some recognition.
I thought they gave him the A a little bit ago.
Yeah, he has the A, but like as the C, I don't know. Like, does someone get the C this year too? That's a big question.
If they do give out the C, it's probably Backlund for sure. But I can't really
We've changed it like 100 times now.
Yeah, we've changed that answer 100 times by now. Like, honestly, I could see them giving Sean Monahan or Elias Lindholm at that point. But they give it to Markstrom. He deserves it.
Dude, the Bobby Lou era of Bobby Lou. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was funny. Good times. But hey, guys, I believe that's everything for this episode on Flames Talk and Off-Season Talk. Oh my God, we're so happy about this trade. It's nice to see that the Flames kind of are making the right turn around from losing 2 superstars to gaining a big superstar and some good defense and prospects and picks. So it's nice to be Flames fans. It's getting a little bit better, just a little bit. Yeah, it's step by step.
It's such a nice win. We'll see. There's going to be more things that happen. So of course we'll get that out in news and all that stuff out to you guys as soon as we can.
Yeah, and if you guys did enjoy, we would love if you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Maybe comment down if you want to see us do other things, maybe more tier tier list like we did before, etc. T-Dog, I'll let you off it because I started it.
Thanks, B-Dog. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again very much for listening or watching wherever you were consuming this content. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Instagram, TikTok, and our website, puckandstuff.wixsite.com/podcast, where we have all the podcasts and the blogs and all that stuff if you would love to check that out as well. Thank you guys very much for again consuming this content. Question for you guys: what did you guys think about any of these signings, these trades, all of that? What did you think about the Tkachuk trade? Simple as that. It's crazy, but who wins? Who lose? Was it a tie? Who knows? What do you guys think? It's up to you guys. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, keep on rocking in the Brad Tree living world and keep eating your Boston pizza.
See you on the flip side, dudes.
Peace.
Peace.
Take it too long.